Well, hello, everyone. I am Hattie Portis Jones, and I am Secretary of the South Metro Democratic Women's Council. The organization's purpose is to create awareness and facilitate support of various social issues and programs that concern women in the South Metro and surrounding area. The council is extending an invitation to all eligible candidates from each of the South Metro Democratic Women's Council cities for the upcoming municipal elections. An email has been sent to each qualifying participant to participate in our interview series. Today, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing Mr. Keyton, who is a candidate for the City of South Fulton Council District 4. Mr. Keyton, welcome. And with that, we will begin the interview, and you can begin by telling us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. How are you? Good evening. So I am known as Mel Keyton around the area. People always call me Mel. I've been here in the City of South Fulton for a very long time, in between South Fulton and Southwest Atlanta. So I was born in North Carolina, but we moved here when I was 1 year old. And we got here, and a lot of my roots are, well, I'll give you some history about my family. My family were some civil rights leaders in St. Augustine, Florida. They helped march on when they were marching at Flagler College and marched with civil rights with John Lewis, and then they end up coming to Atlanta for, I guess for a bigger experience and to expand their lifestyle. So, and then everybody spread it out, and one of my uncles became a carpenter. Another one of my uncles, he started out being the first hairdresser in Greenbrier Mall, which was Rich's, and he later on became a preacher at West End Church of Christ and Boulder Crest Church of Christ, and he expanded his business and his preaching into the youth. And I really looked up to a lot of the men in my life, because at one point, coming up in this area on this side of town, I came from a troubled childhood, and I was a troubled teen. So I really look forward to mentoring teens, and I do that now. So that's one of the things that that I actually do, and that's important to me. So community involvement is very important to me, and I really thought about it this year as far as being a city council member, because when I first thought about it, I was like, nah, I'm good. I just like staying behind the scenes. But and it started way back when I got that thought in 2014. We had this really, really bad ice storm, and it was a bunch of kids trapped on the bus on Butner Road. And I came home and I saw this lady I guess she had a foot on the brake to keep the bus from falling down the embankment. So I went home and I said, I'm pretty sure the fire department will come and get them. So I went home and I thought about it for about 20 minutes, and I said, nah, let me go back down here. So you just never know. And so I went down there, and she was still stuck there. So I went and gathered salt, like it was table salt from the house, table salt, blankets, shovels, hammers, all kind of stuff, man. I dug up the whole street to get the kids off the bus, and I really thought about it, and I was like, you know what, how did we get here, and why weren't there anybody available to help us around here? So that's one of the things that had me like, we got to do better, and that's one of the things that made me want to support the cityhood and us becoming a city, because I'm pretty sure everybody knows that they try to block us a lot from becoming a city, and they try to discourage us and telling us why we couldn't become a city, but we did it. So I'm really running on that, because we actually need a lot of things that a city needs, and I think that we don't really have the support that we should have from our state leaders, and I just want, I want those people to recognize us, and also some kind of way we can create some kind of metaphorically belt line allegiance, to where, us at City of South Fulton, Union City, and Fairburn, Chattahoochee Hills, we can all get together collectively and work together and get the state our state representatives to acknowledge us and acknowledge the things that we need. And one of the things that was really important to me was the fact that how many times we have been at a level zero, just no ambulance in the area. And that causes a lot of people time with their, your time getting to medical care and medical treatment is very important. And I think time is of the essence. And I think that we can no longer keep going on just thinking that's just the way it is. And that's just not the way it is, because I've experienced, seeing my neighbor get killed in front of the subdivision on her way to work, and her kids have to watch that. And one of my friend of mine, her son was killed on Butner and 92 a week before they graduated high school. So it's just a lot of just seeing that, and the truck traffic, and trying to put some legislation in place to curb these warehouses from coming here, and letting people know and understand what it's causing, what it's doing on, from a safety concern, and also, what it's doing to us from EPA concern. And I think a lot of people aren't paying attention to that. And actually, when everything is gone and all the investors have made their money, and I don't think people are really realizing that we're going to be stuck with this. And our leaders in Fulton County and state leaders, they don't recognize the problem that we're really facing up against, and they don't see it. And for me, I feel like I have good vision on seeing ahead of the curve. And that's one of the things I pride myself on, because I see things before they happen. And
Mhm.
and when we don't handle things when they happen, we stuck with a lot of problems, and then we're scrambling. So
Okay. So you've articulated a lot of different issues of concerns to you that would be a part of your platform. So
right.
what makes you qualified for council, and to think that you can have an impact on all those things that you've expressed?
Well, right now I'm an engineer for DeKalb County, so I understand what that sewer model, that old sewer model, and what it does. I understand the dynamics of that. I have expertise in that area, so I understand the logistics of how that works, and what that can cause in later and future problems for the city. So I do understand that, um, and also, as far as some other things I didn't mention, as far as zoning, I helped create, I did sign that bill for the rezoning plan before South Fulton was a city, that created Sierra State Camden Manor, which was a part of Hampton Oaks subdivision. And so what was going on, I recognized the problem out front, that we had a builder that was not following the rules, and the capacity of this neighborhood using one swimming pool was what wouldn't be good for the future. So I saw the vision before it happened. So we got together. I worked with Harold Reed and Cliftondale community, and we came up with a plan to establish a reasonable setback for new homes coming into the community, and what they were going to do with the homes, and how they were supposed to look, and how they were going to look, and what the standard would be. So I helped that process, and getting people to come join and sign. And as we went down to the Fulton County Board of Commissioners meeting, that helped us get those things in place. That's why you see those subdivisions here today. And
Okay.
I participated in that.
All right. And then, so you are running for elected office in an abnormal time, and that being COVID-19 and the various variants, that Delta being the near one on the horizon, and I understand that there might be others. So given that, that's abnormal times that we're operating in. What legislative priorities would you put forth because we are operating within a pandemic?
I think that, this is just my opinion. I think that we should be falling in line more so of what the governor may be saying, versus, or, safely. And Let me explain this to you so I can help you understand why I'm saying this. All right. So the governor, we have an issue. Matter of fact, we had an issue last week, right? So the issue was we had the parks are open. Parks are open to the public. So we had an issue, and the governor said the state is open. So we had an issue last week where my dad was help volunteering at the park at Old National Park, and they were told that they couldn't practice at that park. So they went to Burdette Park, and they took the kids down to Burdette Park to practice because they are a traveling team. And so they were told to leave. They were trespassed, and they were asked to leave the park because they couldn't practice at the park. So I think that those are the kind of as long as everybody's doing it safely and that we are following the guidelines and what the state legislators have said. And I think that we can kind of prevent ourselves from having further issues in litigation and the perception of what people may think about the council people or the mayor or whoever they feel like is in charge of that. I feel like that we should kind of fall within those guidelines until we have been told otherwise. I mean, because another reason I'm saying that, because, you know, perception is reality to some people, right? And when our citizens see us campaigning using city money to campaign and having big events, and then they can't use the park, you know, it's kind of like, what are you doing? And we got to be able to have those tough conversations like, are we closed? Are we open? And without anybody taking it personal or getting upset about it, but we got to be able to have those tough conversations with ourselves and make it make sense to people. You know.
So for clarity, then, was
Mhm.
the team asked to move from one park to the other because of COVID concerns? Help me with the connection.
Well, I don't know. They were just asked to move because they said they were not able to use that park. They didn't get any explanation.
Okay,
So
so but you brought that in as an example. So clarify for us the connection between the example that you've just given and the question regarding priorities operating under the pandemic. Are the two
right.
links? That's what I'm trying to make sure that we are clear your point regarding that.
As far as being able to operate under the pandemic, I feel like it was safely being done when it's because it was outdoor. You know, just that was one of my things. Outdoor sporting events, I think should be fine as long. It's no way to social distance in football. I mean, because it's a contact sport. But as far as, you know, everybody, all the parents and people being outdoor, I feel like that is one of the things we can look at as far as having a lot of outdoor sporting activities versus indoor activities. So, and still giving people the exercise that they may need, or, you know, without being in the house.
Okay,
You know.
so what is your legislative priority relative to that? What would you be pushing if you were to be elected? What would be the legislative language or priority relative to what you just described?
Um,
What is it
I'm look
that
so,
you want? How is it that you want the city to operate, or what is it that you want the citizens to be able to use, or what should the city be providing? I just want to make sure that we're clear about your position.
uh, I feel like what I would feel like legislation should be is we are following the CDC guidelines and the state guidelines to keep it in line with what we're doing. That'll keep down all the confusion. So when our state legislation and the CDC says we should do something different, then we do something different.
All right, so you're saying the inconsistency with the rules within the city. Is that what
Right.
you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so that's one thing that you've described and that the constituents could look forward to from you if you were elected. What are some other priorities that the constituents could look from you to put forth?
Uh, as far as another thing that not off the top, so I just want to be clear about that. But as far as us working out our own trash service and the logistics of it, right? Because right now I have a concern, and I listen to other people with their same concerns about the trash service. GFL and all the contractors. We got 3 contractors that come in that don't really care about what the community looks like. And then you can't not communicate with them. There's no place to contact, no point of contact, and it's not a good service. And so later on, I think that we should be looking at the logistics of what a transfer center is and where we can possibly put one, and creating some jobs in that field, and also making some money off of it for the city. Because right now we don't have a lot of things that we can really make money off of in the city. And the third biggest thing is sanitation, and we're leaving money on the table by contracting that out. And and I think a lot of people, some people may be scared of what I'm saying. Just say, hey, I don't think that's gonna work, and you're gonna put us in debt. But people don't understand the logistics of it and what it brings and the kind of revenue that it brings to the city. So that's another thing that I'm talking about bringing in later on in the future, so we can look at where we're securing a place at an industrial place where maybe a transfer center is, that we can take trash to one place, and we can actually be the the, the person to go to, the partner with the contractor for all the businesses and the citizens, and the citizens have someone to hold accountable, and not just and just don't have to deal with this anymore, the inconsistency of what we have going on now. So that's
Okay,
another thing that I'm looking at.
so speak to the environmental impact of that, because you stated earlier that that was an issue of concern in environmental impact of various things. So speak to environment relative to the being your own trash provider.
Right. Okay. So I'll like I said, I work in DeKalb. I've seen Cobb County how they do there. So a lot of big cities, what they have is a transfer center, right? It is a place, and it's like a warehouse with no front to it, and it's a dock. And so what they do, you have on different days, you have the vendors, not the vendors, but the trash companies, whatever district they in, they come and dump their trash. And then when they dump their trash, they sort it out, recycle it, pull the metal out, whatever they got going on. And then they take a CDL driver, which takes it to a dumping site. Normally they are using Alabama. That's what nobody's burying trash in the metro area anymore. So they normally taking that stuff to Alabama, sometime Florida, and they have another one, I think right around Tennessee area, something like that. And that way we can and see what that looks like, right? And understanding how that works, and not just shooting that idea down. And also we can bring revenue to the city from that, because we got to have trash service right now. And right now we're not getting a good deal from what we have right now. And they also creating the jobs.
All right, so Mr. Keyton, here's your opportunity to convince the voter that you are the best candidate for council in District 4 of the City of South Fulton. So the floor is yours. Convince us.
I feel like I am the best candidate because I am grounded in South Fulton. My kids go to school in South Fulton. I live in South Fulton. I play in South Fulton. I love the South Fulton area, and I have a lot of plans, and I have a lot of energy to put forth the effort to South Fulton. And I'm really looking forward to being in that seat and being a public servant, still, but just on a bigger platform. So I just remember a time when this area was a really great area for minorities. And I grew up seeing it. I grew up seeing Dominic Wilkins and the Atlanta Falcons players and the people that worked at Delta Airlines, and all living on Old National. It was a place that everybody wanted to be. It was nice restaurants, nice The schools were good, really good at the time. We had great examples that, that kids could look up to, and I feel like I want to get back to that. And I feel like I have some really, really good ideas on bringing things and new ideas to the city of South Fulton that can enhance us and make us a better city, and also streamlining a lot of these processes that may be taking a lot of time for us to do, and just taking out the waste of our process and making it better so we can be more efficient as a city. And I feel like I have what it takes to do that.
All right, well, thank you for that. And so our time is near. How can people get in contact with you?
Right now, I have a website. It is www.mailkeyton District 4 City Council. So
yes, MEL,
yep.
MEL Keyton. Yes, spell it out, please.
MELKEYTON District 4 City of South Fulton.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Keyton, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to interview with the South Metro Democratic Women's Council. This interview is vital for the voters of the district to know all of the candidates, to know something personal about them, and to know their platforms. So we really appreciate you allowing us to be a vehicle to help you deliver that message. So thank you and good luck with your campaign.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.